Welcome to the People's Guild.
Each week we explore the Splinterland universe with guests from all across the mythical land of Praetoria.
Join us on our journey as we discuss the evolution of the game, the strategy, the lore, and the exciting path that lies ahead.
To support the People's Guild, make sure you subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts, and also check us out on PeakD, YouTube, and Twitter.
Send your questions, suggestions, and epic battles in our comments through Twitter or email at thepeoplesguildspl@gmail.com. We'll feature the best in our episodes and maybe airdrop you some prizes.
Thanks for tuning in and enjoy the show.
Welcome back to the People's Guild. Another week, another episode. This week it is just your usual suspects here at the People's Guild. I have Thorne and myself. We had Matt Clark all scheduled up. Got some wires crossed on some time zones. Shout out to South Australia with that wonky half-hour difference from the rest of the world. But yeah, hopefully we'll be coming back with that episode before too long. But yeah, with all the kind of crickets that we've been hearing around Splinterlands of late, we figured we'd come in and try and spice things up with some positivity and some talk about all those crickets. So what's up, Hep? What's going on in your little neck of the woods of Praetoria, bro?
Yeah, man. Well, it's your neck of the woods too. Yeah.
And neighbor.
Yeah, we just too much going on to not at least get in here and talk about it. Yeah, man. I mean, Land is out. The last episode we had, Azarkron was here right before Land came out. It's funny. He said, he thought it would be land usage would be around 10%. And then he also said it was going to be a lot easier to get SPS to double than it was for Bitcoin to double. And then he talked to us extensively about how he doesn't make predictions. So both those non-predictions came true. It looks like. I haven't checked the numbers recently, but he sent it to us a couple of days ago, maybe over the weekend, that we were right around 10% land usage. And yeah, I mean, SPS has doubled basically since that we were at that low of like 1.516. Let's see, what is it right now? I mean, when I looked last night, it was over
3.04 cents, according to Splinter cards. Still double. Well above double.
Close to double, yeah. I mean, it's down a little bit tonight, which is interesting, or since last night when I looked. But yeah, I mean, I was listening to Bulldog's stream a little bit last night as he was kind of going through his rebellion cards and kind of getting his deck set up. And, the topic of, SPS came out and Bitcoin being back up over 40. I was like 44 last night when I went to bed, 44, 43. And looks like it's at, up over 44 right now. In his sentiment, he said that, he was wondering that if it was, he was kind of upset that Bitcoin was up so much because he wasn't sure if, SPS was just kind of caught up in the Bitcoin rally or if we were doing this on our own. And I just I totally disagree with even that sentiment. I mean, if you look at every other altcoin, no other altcoins are moving like Bitcoin's moving. It's everybody's piling into Bitcoin. I think, what the news is saying is that they're probably expecting those ETFs to get approved. And there's not really much institutional money in it right now. And so a lot of that might come pouring in. So, yeah, I think this is just a lot of it's us. And I think that a lot of it has to do with the fact that the people, there's not as much downward pressure because the airdrops you were getting for land, those have gone away unless you are actively working your land. Like, you've got to earn that instead of just getting it. And it seems like maybe there's a lot of people who had a lot of lands. I know we heard about, if the Blockchain Foundation, that they had, a bunch of land and, they weren't planning on using it. And so it seems like maybe them and some other people, I don't know, were just selling their SPS and that they were getting. And I think that has been the big trigger. I mean, we were all talking about the flywheel getting it going, but maybe it was just that getting those SPS rewards into the hands of people like us and Azarkron, and Cryptomancer, Crypto Eater, all those guys who have a bunch of land that are big into the project, and we're going to work it and are probably holding on to the SPS instead of selling it. So yeah, I mean, for that perspective, it's been great. So yeah, how about you? How are you feeling?
Well, it's an interesting thought, and I want to kind of elaborate on something that you dropped there, Hep. The other altcoins are kind of looking decoupled from Bitcoin at the moment. Is that you've been part of the crypto rodeo for far longer than I, so I'm going to default to your historical knowledge. Is that kind of typical for there to be a significant lead time for Bitcoin to start running before the others kind of catch wind in their sails? Is there something to that argument?
I mean, yeah, there's sometimes it depends. I mean, lots of times you have, and there's lots of different indicators that people look at, whether it's, Bitcoin season or altcoin season. A lot of times you'll see Bitcoin sort of run up, and then there'd be a lag and altcoins follow. The lag is usually not this long, though. I mean, the lag is usually a lot shorter. I mean, sometimes people will think that once the price of Bitcoin starts getting a little bit high, and pushing up against the top resistance, that people might sell and then buy into some altcoins that they think will have more space to move in the short term. So typically you see a little bit of lag, but it's not, it's been, Bitcoin's been on a run for, a couple, or like a little over a week now. Like this strong of a run. Technically, I guess it's been on a run since July when it was at, it hit 20,000.
Well, it was really like I'm looking at the historicals here, and in June, July, you're calling the shots right there. It was hovering around 30 for a little while, then it fell back down to mid 20s. But it was like mid October that it really started taking off. From it closed October that last week. It shot up from just around 28 to here we are at 44 plus. And it wasn't, this SPS movement, there's just been so much going on. It's tough to keep track of days, but it feels like this SPS volatility explosion has just happened in the past week, 10 days, maybe.
Yeah, no, I think it entirely coincided with the land release. Hold on, let me pull the chart.
Yeah, I think you're onto something there, though. I would love to see the data of, what was the total pool of distribution on SPS prior to land going live, and what are the distributions on a daily basis today?
Yeah, what was the date land went live? Was it the 1st or
28th?
The 28th?
Yeah, it was after the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. I think that's the 28th.
Yeah, I mean, so we were at sub 2 cents still on the 28th, right? Like we were at 0.18, or the 27th, we're hovering around 0.18. And then, bumps up the 30th, it bumps up to 2. And then it was really that December since the 2nd. That last week or 5-6 days where, we were at 0.02 and people were like, oh, this is great. And then it's, 2.6, 2.8, then hitting 3 and 3.2. So yeah, it's interesting. And yeah, maybe some of that is that, people, maybe people in the community who had some substantial Bitcoin holdings saw that, hey, Bitcoin's really jumped and I'm going to sell some of that and buy SPS because I think that's going to move next. So, there might be some correlation there, but I think it's just, we haven't seen it, I guess today we're seeing it swing back down a little bit, but it's just been on such a strong run. It's really been impressive. So yeah, I mean, it's been great. That's been great. It's been fun getting, land set up. Realizing I definitely should have bought cards sooner, and got myself a bit more organized. And you and I had some discussions the day after land came out that I was just like, oh man, I did not have this thing organized at all. I know you were in much better shape to have things organized. But
yeah, so how let's touch base on that. So you have 14 plots, is that right?
I think I have 15.
15? Are you
I'm gonna jump into I'm gonna jump into our buddy Axler's land manager right now. Shout out to him. I know I saw jumped in on some of his stream last night too. Head on over to Baron's Toolbox, and they've got a really cool land manager tool that kind of shows all your the cards you have on your plots, many totems, and what you got set up there, all in a nice little setup for, especially for people like, I mean, it seems loads pretty fast even for some of the bigger guys, but yeah, for me it loads up or super quick and has everything in one place. So just a shout out to him for putting together another great user interface there for land.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah, just looking at like your total 15 plots. How are you looking in terms of moving towards 100% productivity?
So I have 7 going right now. My occupied, was the one I put my Rooney on it. I put, my best totems on it, my best cards. Even I moved, I decided to take my level 3 Lord Aranthus and take him out of play there and put him on my occupied plot. So I've got that going, and just got everything else I'm using. I have one other beta card, like a Twisted Jester on there, and everything else I'm pretty much using is just like gold, mostly gold, and other max level Chaos Legion cards. So I've got three of those 7 plots, mining SPS, including that occupied, obviously, and then everything else going to grain. And I have a pretty good grain surplus right now. Let me double check I think I'm in like 300 or 400 surplus an hour in grain. So I've got some more room to play with. I've got a lot of extra grain. I'm going to set up probably some more SPS mining and maybe put one, at least I have 2 magicals. I was going to put them both to research. I'm not sure if I'm going to invest the resources in that right away. I'll probably get maybe 1 to research. It's still very confusing to me how the research points are gonna work and everything's gonna shake out. With everything going on and haven't really even gotten to look too closely. I only looked briefly at all the land 2.0 information. So right now,
I think we should probably just put a pin in all things that's getting trickled out on that 2.0 white paper. There's so much to digest, and I'm right with you, man. I've taken a glance. I've looked at the list of resources and kind of scratched my head a little bit, but it was nothing more than a quick throwing my eyes across the paper before I realized there was other stuff going on that I needed to focus on. But yeah, man, the land calculations, I gotta say, first and foremost, I miss my Rooney. I reach for my Rooney all the time. It's not there. It's devastating, but it's so nice getting that 100% boost with Rooney allocated to lands, and so much so that my surplus, I'm sitting on 123,000 grain right now that I'm just mopping the floor with. I pulled my Rooney off and am reallocating him to one of the magical plots. But yeah, it's been a nice surprise seeing how these numbers are all calculated. The user interface, we've heard, if you hopped on Axler's stream, you definitely heard him probably griping about how the UX leaves a little bit to be desired on Splinterlands. You should go to Baron's Toolbox. And as an objective user, he's absolutely right. You should 100% go to Baron's Toolbox. It makes things so much easier.
I know. I wish you could do some more management with it. I don't know if you could I know you still have to go back into the game to do the management, but it's nice that at least through his you can kind of click on it and get there. It'll bring you to your plot, so that's a lot easier. It's so much easier. I mean, like all his interfaces he's set up are a lot better than the Splinterlands team. And not to throw shade on the Splinterlands team, but or give it some salt out here, but I think he just does such a phenomenal job that it's hard to compare. So yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
One question I had, so I have a second Rooney, and this is how far behind I am. Can I get my second Rooney into to land or into the game? I was wondering I was going to put it into be able to use it to play, but now I'm wondering if I should just put it in the land, because it is such a big advantage to not have to have that DC stake. So I got to figure that out.
Yeah, you can 100% get multiple Rooney onto lands. Yeah. I think Gold Matters, he's got 27, 28 Rooney, something absurd like that, and they're all working lands from his main account. So yeah, it's definitely possible. Have you not found yourself? Maybe that's what, and we've talked about this the last couple of days. You finally,
oh my God,
made the plunge into Modern. Do you find yourself reaching for Rooney and not having Rooney to take you over the hump into gold?
Okay, yeah. So let's get into this, as this is what I've been griping about. I've been playing Modern. I've always been playing Modern. I've always played Modern. I've always played Modern and Wild. I just liked Wild better. I would always play Modern to the point where I would get my rating up high enough so that my account did not drop into silver every season. Okay. And I've done that since they made that rule change. I've always made sure. And so I haven't played silver. Well, when was that rule change? That was like 6 months ago, right? When I was like, finally, I never have to play silver again. Last season, I didn't play it, and I didn't have time to play enough. I let it slip, and I was like, basically like, right. Like, I was like, oh, I just need to win like 3 or 4 matches and I'll get from silver 1 into gold. This is not a big deal. I am barely hanging on to silver 1 right now. I just the last couple of days I've been trying to play. I had completely forgot about like Rebellion was coming out. So I guess all the Untamed cards were like super cheap to rent. I was just getting my ass handed to me left and right by like, and you were like, just rent Lamacron. I tried that, and I had like one team I had a really good setup going, and then like someone plays like a kitty, and I was like, oh, they just destroyed me. And just like, I don't know, man. It's been so frustrating. So I haven't had time. I haven't really thought. I use my Rooney a decent amount, but never so much that I really think I miss it. But I mean, the last couple of days have been tough, and then I completely forgot Rebellion was coming out, and then Rebellion came out, and now it's like all these new cards, and I don't have all of them, and I don't know what any of them do. But you still only got like 2 minutes to set your team. Like, they need to give us like an extra minute or 30 seconds for a couple seasons so we can like figure you're gonna add like 5 new abilities in and all these new cards. Like, come on, give us a little more time to pick our teams for a little bit, man. It's tough. It's tough out there. So yeah, it's been, I mean, it's great. It was nice yesterday to see all the Untamed cards go away, so I didn't have to deal with as many of those. But like, I had some really good Untamed cards that I like to use too. So then it's kind of like, and I just, the meta in silver, I'm just like, keep looking for like, why is there no blind? Are there any cards with blind in silver? Like, trying to play my Coral Lurker with Yasik, but I'm like, there's no blinds, and then my Coral Lurker just gets destroyed right away. I don't get any misses. And it's just like, I just can't put a team together. I just don't know where to go. So I've been starting to try to figure it out, I think, a little bit, but it's like, it's good, but it's frustrating. But I think that's good. It's like, I'm not just blindly playing the same teams I can, normally do or know. It's just like, yeah, I mean, it feels like I'm learning to play the game all over again, which in some ways is fun. Like, that's like, being frustrated, I think is fun. Being frustrated, makes me want to play the game more. Then when
I'm going to clip this for the next couple of days, Hep, and send it to you as a not so subtle reminder to grin and bear it, bro.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you should like gif it, and just like send it to me every time I'm bitching at you that I can't get out of silver. But yeah, so I think, I mean, I've been buying ECR. I've seriously been buying ECR and like trying to grind out of silver, and I can't do it. So, kudos to the game. I'm spending my deck.
It's working.
Trying to get it. So yeah. And then last night I didn't play. I played a little bit yesterday, and then last night was just opening my Rebellion packs and just trying to figure out. It was just opening the packs and then like looking at these cards and being like, I mean, and here's the problem too, is like I know the cards I want, I know what I'm going to do with them in gold. Some of the cards at least, but I just don't know about silver. And I'm like, crap, do I have to like focus on silver? So I just get like some of these up to silver to try to get out of silver and then figure it out. But yeah, I don't know. If anybody knows how to get out of silver, hit me up on Discord. Somebody please help me out.
Man, I think you got to lean into the challenge function as janky as it is. It's just set the rules to silver and yeah, get comfortable with what's available down there. But yeah, man, you're absolutely right. Bronze and silver, I would say, are the hardest leagues, most competitive leagues to play in. There's so many really good players. Everything's maxed out. They've got spreadsheets and lists and strategy guides of how to counter XYZ rule sets and anticipate XYZ plays from opponent Hepthorn, and yeah, you're just running into a brick wall, man. It's a tough racket, man.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk Rebellion, dude. So you opened up a good chunk of packs. Are there any cards, now that we've had a chance to kind of see a little bit of what's what? I think, you mentioned you were watching some of Bulldog's stream. I know he was talking about, cards that he was looking to level up, and there's been some Mav server play that's kind of leaked out onto content creator channels over the last couple of days, last week or so, leading up to the release. Are there any cards that you're kind of really pining for, or have you already made some moves on some cards, or where's your head at with all that stuff?
So I have, and I had 105 packs, and opened those up just to kind of see what that gave me. I did get one gold foil legendary out of that, which is pretty awesome. Which was the fire guy, the rushed Townsend, which is a really awesome card. I just don't. I am trying to sell it, just because I'll take the money and buy more cards with it. It's an awesome card. I don't play fire that much. It's never been a focus of mine, and maybe I need to revisit that now that I have pretty much a full Chaos Legion fire set, and I can maybe try to revisit that. For me, I've always just tried to focus on a couple splinters, being mostly like death and water and dragon in gold, because I thought those have always been very useful, but now things have changed so much. So yeah, maybe it is better for me to just kind of like relearn how to play the game again and go after all the cards. But I mean, that card is awesome. I really like stuff with ambush. I really like the Chaos Jailer for death. He's got opportunity, ambush, and poison. So I mean, I think that's a card I've definitely got my eye on. I was able to pull a gold foil of that, so I might level up that gold foil. But
he gets slow at the higher levels, which is
awesome.
Is really fun. Yeah.
There's that card. Let me see. There is a water card. That water card that I think is is it the Pirate of 8? Yeah, the Reach and Explosion. That looks fun. There's a death card. Wait, what's it? Maybe it's the death card I'm actually thinking of.
Is it the Reach monster, the wailing wraith?
Yeah, why am I not seeing that in my?
It's a rare 4-mana.
Yes. Okay. So it's got that shield attack. It's got reach. It gets affliction, and at level 6, it also gets rust. So it's got those 4 abilities as a rare card at level 6, and that seems
broken.
Pretty awesome for me. Yeah.
Man, I was sleeping on Armored Strike. So I went out and I've been pretty vocal that I wasn't buying Rebellion packs. I was going to kind of wait and see how things panned out, and this morning, as soon as I hopped on, I saw some gameplay from the Dragon Summoner. So I immediately went out. That was the first purchase. I got a max copy of the Arcane, whatever it is. And Ambush is a total game changer. But I got it handed to me by Mantaroth a couple of times, which is the legendary promo airdrop, the big neutral guy.
Uh-huh.
And that Armored Strike. Yeah, I was definitely selling on that ability, but no more. And that Wailing Wraith is a great example. Little League compatible, 4 mana. He doesn't have a whole lot of melee, or she doesn't have, I guess she doesn't have a whole lot of melee attack, but all of a sudden she's double striking with whatever armor you give her. So you toss the what's that protect ranged soulbound card for death. That's 4 mana.
The crow guy.
Yes, the crow. The Dr. Blight looking dude.
Yeah,
and all of a sudden the Wraith is doing 4 damage with the armored strike, and then 2 damage to follow up with the possibility to land affliction.
Yeah,
powerful. Yeah.
It's awesome. Some of these cards, man, I don't know if price is going to come down. I mean, some of these cards are just expensive still. So I don't know. It's tough. But before we get into prices, let's see what are some of the cards you're liking.
The Dragon Summoner is so much fun to play.
Yeah.
Ambush is such a cool ability, and it just the tactics opens up so many new doors for strategy with this game. Like, getting that second look at, well, I guess first look at your opponent's team, but second look at your own team to identify, is Ambush the better call? I've got to say I've used Ambush probably 90% of the time versus Lookout. I still haven't really messed around with Lookout and don't fully understand the ability to this point, but Ambush on a couple of times, like an opportunity rule set, for example, I've got Dr. Blight in my lineup. I give him Ambush. He's dropping a poison on somebody and wiping them out before because if that poison procs, they're taking 2 damage from the magic plus 2 damage from the poison before the game even starts. And all of a sudden, like one of these critical support cards, it's really, really fun. So the Dragon Summoner, I think, is an absolute game changer. And both of the promo cards, the Grimbardoon Smith and the Mantaroth, I think are going to be very, very meta for a long time. Grimbardoon Smith is just, I was telling you for years to get Almo. I'll start piping the new hauler for Grimbardoon Smith, man. He's great.
Nice.
Yeah, I would, it's not quite Almo. It's very defensive. But having the repair, the immunity, shield. Yeah, it's just a beast, man. So those 3 would be my must-haves. Oh, plus the Void. He's got Void also.
Yeah. I've got to see. How much is that card going for right now? $170, which I guess isn't. I don't know. So what do you think? I'm struggling with the prices. I think for us, we kind of got in the game around the same time where, it was right before Chaos Legion. I got in like right before Chaos Legion come out, like in the pre-sale. We were like in between the pre-sale and the general sale. I think you were maybe just after the general sale came out, but I remember a lot of people who had been around longer, right when the cards started to come out, when the general sale came out and people were opening packs, putting cards in the market. A lot of people had been around the game in the previous kind of cycle when Untamed came out. Their position was, this is the cheapest cards are going to be, because once these packs get bought up and their cards are going to become harder to get, because that's sort of what we saw with Untamed, and then with Chaos Legion it was obviously a lot different. There was just more packs in the player base could support, and the prices of packs plummeted. I mean, there's the cards plummeted from what the beginning, continued to drop, and then Rift Watchers came out, and the packs didn't sell a ton, and you saw the prices kind of come out high, drop a little bit, and then really stabilize. So it's kind of interesting to see what's going to happen with these cards. I wonder.
I mean, I think the major difference is So I was just looking at all of the modern rare cards, and Grim Bardoon Smith is by far the most expensive. I think the best measure is probably Queen of Crows, just because she's had enough time to stabilize, and that price has been pretty much the status quo for a long time, hovering right around $1. But because it's a promo card, you need to look at, instead of a comparable card in another modern set, looking at the other promo cards versus kind of their, I guess, rarity comparison. So like Dr. Blight and Oh Sure versus the rest of the legendary crew from Chaos Legion and Rift Watchers, it's price and a half at least. Yeah. Dr. Blight I don't think has dipped below $30 in ages and ages, and Oh Sure has been right around that $25-27 range for just as long. So I don't expect Grim Bardoon Smith to ever really dip too low, just because it's the promo card, and there's what's printed is all that's ever going to be printed, right? There's 44,000 BCX, and that's already down to 26,000 cards. So folks are definitely buying that dude and putting him in lineups. It's getting combined. So with that logic, I felt like, and I secured the Grim Bardoon Smith for right around that 180, 175 price point. And I felt like it's a good deal. I'm planning on DCAing into most of Rebellion, but I feel like there's going to be a handful of cards if I want to stay even remotely competitive, and continue to play at the higher leagues. He's going to be one that needs to be in your stable of options, as well as Mantaroth.
Yeah.
Not to mention the weapons training buff. Grim Bardoon Smith is just filthy with, I was running the Zeriel option as often as I could today. And it's a completely different ballgame now that, even if Zeriel gets wiped out, you still have Grim Bardoon Smith tossing 3 ranged.
Yeah, that buff is a big game changer too. And so maybe I need to start playing around with that a little bit more in silver. I mean, yeah, it makes it interesting because death is maybe more relevant now with that buff. In silver. It's a lot. There's just so much. The gameplay has changed. I haven't even gotten into any of the tactics yet. So, how do you? I know you're doing it with the dragon summoner. Like, is that how does that mechanic work? Is it running pretty smoothly in the gameplay? Is it pretty easy? Like, how much time do you get to do it?
I think it gives you a minute. So what happens is I load up my team. If my team is selected and waiting in the battlefield before the opponent comes, you're prompted with a new screen that I hadn't seen before. It shows that masked summoner, and you're waiting for your opponent to enter the arena, sort of thing. And you have 60 seconds, I believe, to choose your tactics. Obviously, you don't want to choose your tactics until your opponent arrives, at which point the timer starts. But as far as the gameplay, there's been a couple of quirks, like some of the newer cards, especially the summoners. I've noticed it on. Maybe it's not true for the monsters, actually, now that I think about it. But the summoner artwork doesn't appear. And I think the general aesthetic of the game, I realized what the team was trying to accomplish by putting the level, so if it's a legendary card, for example, and it's max, it's going to have 4 golden bars atop the card. It makes the actual icon of the card much smaller. So you have this huge space with, little tiny card tiles moving around on the board. So there's definitely some room for improvement. But as far as, it's not laggy, it's not buggy. Things are moving smoothly. I haven't had a glitch where, my selected tactic didn't get put into play or something like that. But so once that 60 seconds is up, or once you select your tactic and push battle, all of the abilities come into play, and then the ambush phase takes place, and then it jumps to round one and proceeds as a usual match.
Nice.
But yeah,
are there battles are moving slower? Like, I feel like the animations, I noticed as soon as they put the update in and Rebellion went live, that it seemed that the animations were moving a tad bit slower than normal. I even had to click on my, the speed button you have. I clicked on the speed button to try to see, did they reset the speed button to a slower setting than what I normally see it at, which is the fastest speed. And it was no, it's the fastest speed. It just seemed a tad slower. I don't know if maybe that was just my browser and my computer doing that yesterday, but is that something you noticed at all, or maybe that's just me?
Yeah, I don't know if I've noticed that. I'll pay attention for that as soon as we get off the episode. But I think all said and done, I feel like it's been a pretty smooth rollout. Considering the volume of new stuff that just got thrown onto the server, I think things are moving smoothly. But I don't know if you had a chance to tune into the Rebellion launch party at all.
No.
I listened to a little bit of the replay this morning as I was out walking the dog. But they had Soy Boy Roy is the guy's IGN or gamer tag or whatever it is, his name among the Splinterlands team, and he's, I think, the lead UX designer. And it was just interesting to hear, his take. That was a brand new name to me. I don't know if that name rings a bell for you, but it was interesting to hear, his kind of perspective on UX and kind of marrying the two worlds of the technically complex of blockchain with the beautiful intricacy, artistic feel of a TCG. So yeah, I think at this point, I wonder how long the luster of Rebellion is going to last before people start harping when's UX going to get revamped. But for now, I think everybody's satiated. It's been a lot in the last 10 days, 2 weeks. And we're going to continue to see the meta evolve as people start getting these cards leveled up and they're making their way into the game. So it's a fun time to be in Splinterlands, man. It's I for the first time in a long time, I'll say I'm legitimately pumped. I think I finally, I don't know if I mentioned to you, but I finally pulled the trigger on listing all of my Untamed cards to the market in the name of going after Rebellion stuff. I think these cards are that much fun. It's just reinvigorated my interest in playing the game at a high level. So
that's awesome.
Winner, man.
Even your Almo?
I listed my Almo.
What's he going for per BCX now?
Oh man, it pains me to say it, but I listed the max copy for $200.
Oh wow, okay.
It's still, I mean, it's just under $20 a BCX, which is decent.
Still pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, he's held his value better than a lot of the other cards from the Untamed era. But it remains to be seen. I've got it listed for $200. That doesn't mean anybody's willing to pay for. No. Yeah. I think Almo's always going to be relevant in Wild, but we still haven't really seen what is the full impact of lands and what has it done to the Wild gameplay.
Yeah.
So are there any of these tactic summoners that kind of pique your interest more than others? Is there one in particular that you're excited to bring on the team hip?
Probably, let's see. The dragon one, definitely. We'll see when I'm finally able to probably DCA into that one if the price doesn't come down.
What's it at right now?
Let's see. Summoners. Where is it? I don't even know.
It's almost 33.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pricey.
I heard
Yeah, I
someone
got it
say
for-
they were like got it for like 20 per BCX, which I don't know how they timed it that perfectly.
I did. I paid
at
like
20 or?
19 to 21. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's really good. Let's see. Oh, I have all cards. That's why I didn't get it. I was like opening my cards. I was hoping I could get at least one of those, but I didn't. The death one is interesting with the -2 health. I just it's does death have any death doesn't have any redemption now in modern. So when I
Yeah,
first
there's
saw that, I was like, "Ooh, is there?"
yeah, life sappers got redemption.
Oh, in I'm thinking of it like gold or lower. Yeah, that's right. Life
Oh,
sapper.
does the Rift Watchers airdrop the big magic guy,
Oh, Kane Hayes.
Kane Hayes? Yeah, does he
Yeah.
have redemption at gold?
It is. I never leveled. That's like one of my cards, death cards. I never leveled up. I only have one BCX.
Oh man, I play that card as often as I can. I love that card.
Do
Yeah, he's
you?
got redemption at level 3.
Okay. I don't. Maybe I will look to it now. I just don't know if I just never seem to use that card that much. I just feel like it's really good at max level, and just it seems underpowered. Anything below that.
Actually, I use him a lot and maybe this will make its way into your gameplay handbook. I use it a lot in my silver brawls on my alt account. And it wins at a pretty good clip, man. I mean, it's one of the few monsters that at those lower leagues has blast. It's one of the few monsters at the lower leagues that has reflection shield. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's definitely a glass cannon, but I mean he does some serious damage.
Okay. I'll look at that. Yeah, 1 BCX. Let's see. Yeah, the redemption. So maybe that'll entice me to level him up. He's actually reasonably priced right now. So maybe I will do that. But yeah, because I use in Wild, I always like to play Thaddeus Brood with some with like a redemption card, which is the Untamed one. Of course,
Slime Ball.
Yeah, Slime Ball, Cursed Slime Ball. And then I would play with some other cards that would have what's the ability that drops your health? Too many abilities weaken. I can't even remember. Yeah, weaken. Yeah, so Death has some good weaken cards, especially with like
I'm cheating, Hep. I've got Splinter cards pulled up with all the abilities.
Nice, yeah. Undead Priest with Undead Priest, because that's a super low mana card. So in like low mana matches, you could play that combination, and hopefully they don't have like a shield, or even if they do, it's still really good. Or if you get someone playing a Lorna, it just kind of takes out a bunch of it takes off that right away, that divine shield right away, and then a lot of the cards only have 1 or 2 health. So that was something maybe I look at, but that's such like a niche play. I don't know. The water summoner looks interesting because either the +2 to ranged, or you can give shield to a unit.
Shield on either Bagheera or Wave Brood is a really interesting call.
Yeah, or on even on Daemon Shark or Oceanus.
Or Oceanus.
Yeah. Because you can put him at front because he's got that what's that other shield? He's got sorry, I'm doing a great job of knowing what I'm talking about on this podcast today. I told Ben earlier I had my wife's away for work, and then my daughter was sick at 4:00 in the morning, and then my baby was up at 5:00 in the morning, so I'm not running a lot of sleep right now. That one, whatever the one that anything that's like 5 or over, you only get 1 damage.
Oh, Force Field.
Force field.
Archimus.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a bunch of that's interesting to be able to play that. So now it's like you could really reduce the amount of damage. It's over 5. You're getting at 1, and I wonder if that would take it to even to 0. Like if you have a 5 melee up against someone with force field and shield, would that result in a 0 hit?
I don't know.
Some of these combinations that just kind of, I wonder how they fit together.
Yeah. I mean, the tactic stuff, and at first glance, the dragon one aside, I think each of these, I love that the team has done such a good job of turning modern into, niche is really the new meta. Like every rule set's got a team that's going to be best equipped to kind of wipe out the opponent. And these summoners really give, it's not all guns blazing. There's a lot of defensive moves that are able to be played here, like tossing the 2 magic or -2 magic to 2 opponents on team fire, which is really interesting, or the reflection shield on two of your monsters on team death, or the heal with life, which I think is a really interesting one.
That's huge. I feel like life gets on. That is a huge advantage.
Yeah.
Especially in maybe I need to level up that card. Maybe that'll help me get out silver, because 2 speed also is to 2 different cards. That's, you give either one of those
Jared
things
Scar
to your bandit, or to your heal with Jared Scar. Oh man. And then if you could play him in the second position with one of the cards up front with the flank. Does any of those new life cards have flank? That'd be fun.
Man, that's one that I haven't. Flank and lookout are abilities that I have not touched at all. Let me.
Let's see.
So flank, there's a life and a neutral that have flank.
Yeah. So I mean, being able to play
only death. Oh no, water doesn't have flank, and death doesn't have flank, but there is neutral. That giant hippo has flank.
Okay.
The silver blade fighter for life has flank. So Jared Scar running in position 2 is definitely possible.
Yeah, I mean that's a fun play there, I think.
Oh man, I might need to go shopping after we get off the phone. I'm hoping some of my cards have been sold.
That's funny. So I think that's an interesting idea to play. I mean, I guess some of these are just they're all really great. I mean, the Earth one +2 melee to 2 units. I think that could be interesting.
The poison ability is really cool.
Yeah, because you could take out a support card, right? Like right away. Like if someone
and there's no cleanse for the back line, right? So you're just toast. Yeah.
So that could be really good. That could be really good in silver too, in lower level. Now I'm thinking about everything from a silver perspective, just because I'm desperate to get out of silver. But some of these cards. Let's see some the prices aren't terrible, right? You're under $2. BCX for most of these summoners right now, which is pretty good. I
mean, I think about when I first started the game. It was probably 3 months into Chaos Legion's general sale, and I remember for the longest time, Queen Mycelia was the highest cost legendary, and she was consistently at like $20.
Yeah, and
that was with the oversaturated market. And now, granted, it hadn't hit the full bear market at that point, but even now, of the regular Riftwatcher set, we're seeing the highest price legendary is under $16, and that's with first couple of days hype. So I have to imagine that's going to dip down as the set progresses. But yeah, man, to your point, I feel like a lot of the prices are fairly reasonable. I wonder how much price volatility we will actually see. I think Rift Watchers serves as a really good kind of baseline for what we should expect with the Rebellion card prices. And the reality is there hasn't been a whole lot of movement. Cora Lurker came out of the gate at $20-$30, and he's only recently fallen below $20 for the first time in the whole set's existence. So, strike while the getting's good. Yep.
Yeah,
get those silver cards, man. Start with the new Elmo.
Yeah, I'm starting to think about I can just maybe I'll just level up a deck to silver just to get me out of silver and then figure it out from there. Why am I not seeing the Dragon Summoner? Owned. That's why. All cards. Okay, sorry. There we go. Yeah, maybe I can just get, maybe I'll get a couple of Kane too. $32. That's I don't know. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember though, and remember when Chaos Legion first came out. I remember it was summoners were they at 4 or were they always right around? They were at 4, right? It wasn't.
I think Kelia was $4.
Yeah, it was the floor price for summoners. I remember when they went down to 2, everybody was like, "Oh my god!" Yeah, because it was probably it was about that makes sense. It was probably about $100-$120 to get a gold level summoner. I think that's what I probably paid for around what I paid for most of my summoners. So it's the card prices are still pretty good. So
we haven't even talked about the common summoners yet. Those, I think those are probably going to be of any of the cards will be where we see the most price movement. I think for now, just because it's the fresh new thing, having the dual elements, it's pricey to get one of those suckers maxed out. I actually, the first card I looked at maxing out was Zedeka, the water death. And it's, average price per BCX, 63 cents, $250 to max it out for a common card.
For a common card, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty steep prices. You can get a lot of bang for that buck in other cards, and probably well on your way to a second maxed rare summoner from Rebellion for that price.
Yeah, no, you could because absolutely. Or you could probably max at least one legendary, right? Or it's one and
Mantaroth.
A half, so.
You could get a max Mantaroth for that price.
Yeah.
Which is another card. If you take anything away from just the fun factor of the armor strike, man, I'm telling you, it's the Mantaroth is so much fun. The armor meta is coming into full swing with Mantaroth and Grim Bardoon.
Nice. Yeah, I got one of those. I got one of those in one of my packs, the Mantaroth. I tried to play it yesterday, actually, and I think I played it up against because I played it with my Earth deck, and so I had to Queen Mycelia to up the shield. But then the person I played against was playing Immortalis, so first hit, and then all that shield was gone. So then it became irrelevant. So it didn't work out how I'd hoped. But it's still a little bit of slow speed, so maybe need to look to play him a little bit more in a reverse rule speed set,
or with the flank, or with what's his face, Pasibilis.
Oh right, yeah. Play him Pasibilis, yeah, that's true.
And Pasibilis is another one that I found a lot of success with in silver. I'm
using it. Yeah, I'm using it more than I ever have. A lot of people use it. I'm using him a lot in silver. Yeah.
Especially now that you got the Kulu at a silver level.
Yeah.
Shit.
Have you used Corrosive Ward at all?
I ran into it. Actually, just when we were about to hop on the episode, I ran a battle, and the opponent put Corrosive Ward as their tank position. I had the Pellicor Deceiver at my tank, and so I was hitting it, but I didn't have any armor to lose anyways. That's a clear move to balance, somebody like the Mantaroth or like a weapons trained Grim Bardoon Smith with that armored strike. So it's I think it's the concept is very cool, and I like that. as OP as Armored Strike could be, they introduced an immediate and very relevant counter as part of the same set, which is cool.
Yeah, I used the Lurking Puffer and played it up in my tank position with a weapons training to give it a magic attack. And the interesting thing, though, I went up against sorry everyone, my brain is kind of shot here. What is the fire card that has the immunity? I know the name.
Forgotten one.
Yeah, the forgotten one.
It's appropriate that you forget that one, bro.
And
that's all right.
Yeah, right. It's very
you played right into the lore with that one. Yep. Good job.
The forgotten one, and it didn't work. It didn't proc on him. And
immunity.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I tossed it out into the Phoenix Risen Discord, being like, "Is this not working, or what's going on here?" And someone's like, "Oh no, it's probably because of the immunity." And I was so pissed off. I'm like, why is the armor immune too? Like, why is it, like immunity you're not immune from like thorns. Like, why would you be immune from corrosive ward?
Yeah. That feels like a missed opportunity.
You got to get immunity nerfed, man. Stuff like corrosive ward and stuff like cripple should absolutely work against cards with immunity. Immunity is too overpowered. It's ridiculous. Like, I get it with stuff like affliction and poison maybe and things like that. It makes sense, but things like cripple, everybody go buy your Dallins because we're on a crusade now. And corrosive
my God, Hep, that is music to my ears. But I've been waiting for 18 months to hear you say that, man. There it is.
Can we got to get who's the guy who does all the stat balancing stuff? Tim, right? Is it?
Call me Tim. Yeah, Tim. I and Tim, if this episode happens to come across your purview, we're coming for you, man. Expect a Discord message.
We got to get him on the show. We got to figure out what's going on with some of this, because that's like, when I saw that, and then because then someone's like maybe it didn't work because he took it out right away because he's got the piercing, so he's like maybe the card died and it didn't proc for that reason, but that didn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so like the only thing that made sense of why it wouldn't is because the forgotten one has immunity, and yeah, that's just not acceptable. I mean, like,
I wholeheartedly agree. Yeah, immunity should not prevent something like corrosive ward, and I can understand the cripple, but I also, as much as I want to see Dallin get his time in the spotlight, I will stand wholeheartedly with that argument. Cripple should apply to immunity as well.
Yeah, I mean, because now that it's not so much of an issue, but if you look at the things like the plays with Almo,
Corrals.
Lily and Almo, like it's, or yeah, Corral. I don't get me started on Corrals. Lily and Almo, like, cause like you just put that thing up front with a bunch of heals, and in certain rule sets, it's just completely unbeatable. Like you cannot beat it. But if it had cripple up against there, you would have a chance, right? It's just in some situations, it's just too overpowered to not be able to poison it, not be able to hit it with affliction, not be able to cripple it, like not be able to do literally anything to take the card's health away, like,
or its shield in this point.
And now it's shield. Yeah, it's like, yeah,
it's a bit too much. I agree.
Yeah. Immunity doesn't make you like immunity. It's not immunity at that point. It's like immortality. Immortality should never be a freaking ability in the game. Like you should be and that the same thing with Krauss too. It's just like there's certain rule sets where just like you see that card anywhere in someone's hand, you're like, oh, okay, done.
Skip.
Right?
Yeah,
like there
man.
should be, I know that like a lot of, those cards are now in wild, so maybe people care less about it, but some people still play wild, and it's still an issue. And I think it's just, there's the fix there, there could be a little fix where you say, we've seen them, adjust what, Blast can do and what Cripple could do as well. Yeah, they need to make an adjustment, a little tweak further. I think makes the game a lot more balanced. So let's get him on the podcast. Let's just berate him endlessly until he agrees to make that change.
Okay, well, hopefully he doesn't hear this episode now. His first point of contact is us just reaching out on Discord.
No, I'm challenging you. Come on here and defend these decisions. Why? Why does corrosive ward not work with immunity? Up in arms. I was already
I would even take it a step further, and I would love to see corrosive ward be part of cripple. Like I feel like cripple should also damage a shield beyond repair.
Yeah,
maybe it's just one damage to health and one damage to armor. But it makes sense that, you know, if I'm crippling the body, I should also be crippling the armor, right? Like it.
Yeah, how are you sneaking past the armor just to cripple the body? Thematically,
exactly.
Let's make this stuff make a little more sense. So yeah.
Bingo. Yeah. All right. Well, you bring your best legal representation happen. We'll stick it to call me Tim. I will tell you, man, I think we had talked about this in the past. The snipe play, I think, is coming back in full force with Rebellion. We've got 5 new cards. Life is benefiting from 2 of them, which is super exciting. There's 1 neutral that's a double strike. Water got 1, Earth got 1. So there's each of those teams have a couple of snipes, which I think for the longest time I just dismissed as a viable play option. But down the last, you know, kind of home stretch of Untamed, I bought the Mantoid, I bought the Child of the Forest, Children of the Forest. And I loved pulling out that Fernheart super sneaky snipe play. Nobody expects it coming. And yeah, so kudos to the team for bringing snipe back with good measure with some of these cards. Yeah, so I'm just so excited for what Rebellion's going to do to the meta. I wonder if it's like, where is it going to settle down as like the big, what is the big meta play? And I don't know if there's going to be one. You know, like with Untamed, it was always Kitty kind of trumps everything else, right? Yeah. With Chaos Legion, I don't know, or I guess with Modern at this point, I don't know if there's one card that's going to, or one style, one strategy that's going to be able to run away with leaderboards.
Yeah. I don't know. What if you had to pick one that you thought it could be, what do you think it is?
Probably Ambush. I think Ambush is really going to do a lot for shaking things up. It's, you know, like sticking an ambush on the Chaos Dragon, for example, and all of a sudden doing, you know, 8 damage to the back line before the game even starts. That could completely change things. Or if you've got a Fury card with an unshielded taunt on the other side, give an ambush to your Fury card, wiping out the taunt before the game starts. Like it completely changes. I think ambush. I was really surprised that the Dragon Summoner didn't get nerfed to just 1 ambush.
Yeah,
2 is pretty metal, man. That's a game changer.
Yeah, I think we'll see a lot of that. I'm interested to see flank as well, especially with a lot of weapons training and a lot of these support cards, which seem like they're pretty good attack cards that just, you know, have attack abilities but don't have attacks. Being able to kind of play those in different combinations. Yeah, with the
shout out to the Lurking Puffer. I still think that's one of my favorite cards in Rebellion as a common.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, we'll see. We're gonna see. It's gonna be interesting. Yeah, oh man, I know. I'm desperate. I wish I'd pulled the trigger now on that Dragon Summoner when it was still in the 20s. I don't know. You think it'll come down from 32, or you think it's gonna be something like Quicks that just kind of stayed? I mean, if you look at Quicks stayed in the 40s, right, for a while.
For a long time, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I was really surprised that it was at $20. That felt like that was very reasonable price.
Yeah, I mean, that's what people were paying for legendary summoners for the longest time, right? So maybe people just wanted to move it, and
Yeah, I don't know. I hopped on and, within a couple of hours of me purchasing that card and burning my energy to the ground, spamming that summoner, I went back to the market. It was $40.
Wow.
So yeah, I don't know, man. I think the first moves that I would make, looking at the prices right now, I still think Manseroth and Grimbardoon Smith are going to be really, really impactful. Both neutrals. Uh, and Grimbardoon Smith, he's kind of like, he's not quite as good as Blight because he doesn't fit the Little League rule set, but just the kit that he brings is, and he's weapons training compatible for any of the weapons trainers in the game. Yeah, I feel like that's a no-brainer to pull the trigger on.
Yeah. All right. I might get.
Maybe that's the
right
silver bullet.
Yeah. We'll see.
Well, fun stuff, man. I think it's safe to assume that the excitement is real on your side with all things Splinterlands. Things have amped up significantly over the last 2 months, especially in the last 2 weeks. It's for as dismal and abysmal as most of 2023 felt. This final quarter is, I don't know if I can say making up for a lot of a shitty 2023 for Splinterlands, but they're sure doing their best. It's got me completely stoked for what's coming with this game in the next year with the new set and land and the new. We haven't even talked about the 2.0 white paper. I mean, there's it's still changing. It's still getting better. It's still improving.
Yeah.
And then we're of course, with alongside all of that, we're seeing a rise with our tokens. DEC has been flirting with PEG for a month now, and SPS has been continuing to rise as well. So all in all, it's an exciting time, Happy.
It is. It's been great to see. I mean, we were chatting with Azarcon in Discord the other day. Just kind of shocked to see how fast. I know this is what happens, and Aggie was telling us this all the time that when stuff goes up, it goes up in a matter of days. But yeah, it's just all happened so fast, and it's great. I mean, the land came out and it finally worked pretty well. It worked as advertised, and I don't think we really had any issues. And they seem to it's good that they took the time to get it right. It's fun to manage land and to look at it and claim your resources. Once we get that grain market out and people are able to kind of sell grain, I think that'll be interesting to maybe drive more people to use land, because I know there's some people with maybe just one or two plots, and people have heard people say talking to them, they're like, it doesn't seem worth it to really even use it at this point, because the amount of you would have to spend in the game, amount of DC you'd have to spend on grain to harvest SPS doesn't seem worth it. So maybe when the grain market comes out, that price will come down and it will be worth it, and we can get land use up even more.
And hopefully that's coinciding with SPS ticking closer and closer to 5 cents, 10 cents. Yeah. Changing both sides of that equation is going to get folks there a lot faster.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And not to mention the we had Cryptomancer on last week, and he was kind of alluding to the reason that land 1.5 was taking so long was the company was trying their best to kind of shore up the foundation of the code for faster and smoother subsequent releases. So all of a sudden 2024 could be, I'm going to take a page out of Azarcon's book. I'm not making predictions, but maybe we'll see land 2.0 2.5 come out a lot sooner than folks are thinking at the moment.
Yeah, maybe 2024 will look a lot closer to 2022 than it did to 2023. We'll see. where, yeah, I mean, that was just like a blitzkrieg of stuff coming out all the time. So,
Well,
yeah, I mean, and hopefully with, the price of Bitcoin kind of doubling basically from the last when were the last layoffs? Were the layoffs in over the summer or maybe towards the early fall? So price up.
End of September, maybe.
Okay, yeah. So hopefully they're in a teams in a little bit better financial position. And yeah, things are just looking good.
Well,
What is that?
let's end it on this. Hep. One of my guildies dropped this in the guild chat. I guess somebody put it in Mav chat earlier. The 16 mana first airdrop conflict card that Cryptomancer was talking about last week. Rage, 16 mana dragon card, legendary, 5 magic, 4 speed, 5 armor, 11 health, flying void, weapons training, life leech, affliction. What a beast, man.
And Rage is the card's name. Now, so just clarify that doesn't have the enrage ability. But yeah. Wow, that's intense.
That's some Lord of the Rings vibes right there. Smog.
Yeah.
Yeah, that weapons training is interesting. I've heard a couple of folks saying, how viable of a play is 16 mana when, weapons training is kind of a focal point ability there. But my first thought is like, Bakjira at the back line, this guy right in front of Bakjira, and then maybe Noah the Just or something in front, or I don't know.
A lot of those non-attack cards in Rebellion are very low mana. So I think that kind of fits in well, right? Like you have in water, the Dagon Dark Surveyor is 2 mana. The Nimbledook Scout and Fire is 2 mana. What do we have?
Puffer.
Lurking Puffer. So it looks like every splinter
has leaking Puffer.
Lurking.
I like that name too.
Leaking Puffer. Was it really lurking? I mean, thing doesn't look like it moves around a lot, but it does. It is leaking gas out of it. So maybe we need to discuss with Nate that we need to
call me Tim. You got a second thing on the docket for discussion, brother.
Yeah. What do we got for Life's got? Albahood Forester.
I really like that card, actually.
Cool card. Return Fire, and then gets Triage, which is I love the Triage ability. And then what do we got for Death? Oh, why is Death is the Death is the one that's
there's your redemption, bro.
What's that?
Chaos Animator has redemption.
3. Okay, yeah, there you go. That's also at only at max level though. Oh, but so I was gonna say, sorry, Chaos Animator's 3, but also they do have a 2 non-attack.
Oh yeah, the botanist.
Yep.
Oh, the blinds. Blind at silver.
Blind at level 4. Oh, there we go.
Get your Astral Entity team lined up with this guy, bro. There's your blinds.
Yeah. He's only at 10 cents too. BCX. Let's get him to pick some of that up.
And one more thing, Hep. We haven't seen. I don't know if we talked about it on air, but the idea that a lot of this rebellion stuff is going to start boosting stock for Aquatis, Thispa, Skargor. Who are some of the other? Dallin, I think, is still kind of on the backseat, but those 3 have some real potential to kind of shake things up even further with these new rebellion cards. One of my guildies just sent through a couple of battles with Aquatis just dominating folks with backfire.
Using what that's the thing that I always didn't like about Aquatis is I thought a lot of water has good speed, but a lot of it was kind of dependent on Kalia to boost that speed just a little bit more. And there's not a lot of speed in these Rebellion water cards. A lot of them are actually really slow.
Well, maybe it's got more to do with Untamed exiting than it does with Rebellion entering.
Yeah.
But I think about like enraged rule sets with Oceanus. That guy just goes warp speed with Aquatis and Phase. Yeah. That's a lot of backfire.
Yeah. Very true.
Cool. All right, Hep. Well, I suppose next time we'll talk. We'll compare shopping lists and see who did the most damage. I fully expect you to have the new little Almo under your.
I got him. I've got him up to level silver now. Just while we were talking. Sorry.
Oh, nice. Good call, man. You won't regret that one.
So I've got a couple cards up to silver level. I did get a Kane. I bought 3 BCX of that. Yeah.
You are dead set on exiting silver.
I am. One other card I like too is this that I just caught my eye that I remember I've used it a couple times yesterday, is the Moxian Rebel, and just because gives you that neutral card for mana with weapons training. And it's a pretty solid little, you have to get to level like 7 or 8 to get up to 2 attack. So it's only going to get 1 attack. But if you've got some good support cards there, you want to get weapons training too, especially in like a low mana match, a little league match. It's going to be a good card to have.
Yeah, that camouflage, and this card was trading for 60 cents earlier.
Oh wow, it's up to 127 now.
Yeah, I think she's really caught some attention as the day's gone on. But yeah, the camouflage weapons training, I think a lot of people were kind of poo-pooing that she only gives 1 magic attack to weapons trainees. But yeah, for Little League, that's awesome. Like the Conjurer.
Sometimes that's all you need, yeah.
Conjurer Chaos Agent. 7 mana, and you're dishing out 3 magic damage with a camouflage and a phase on either side. Yeah, that's great.
Also with like a Rift Wing.
Yeah.
I love playing Rift Wing with Dispa. Just because, man, especially if you have an enrage rule set, like that thing is like single-handedly won me matches with backfire, like being the last card. Being able to get that, weapons training.
That doesn't disappear.
Yeah,
that doesn't disappear. Now Riftwing will have attack until the end of time.
Yeah. So yeah, there's some really good stuff here. Really good stuff here.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff, dude. How's the Phoenix Risen crew holding up with Rebellion? Is the excitement kind of running across the guild? Is everybody feeling amped up?
Man. People are excited. I posted some of the stuff in my opening. I'm not sure if a lot of people have bought into packs. We've got a couple of people who playing wild, or a couple of people even who just kind of do brawls, and it's been fun. It's interesting. Some people are talking about whether should they open packs, should they hold them to put them in the wagons for airdrop points.
Well, it doesn't make a difference, right? As long as you hold on to the cards, or you're playing the cards.
I think you have you got to think about the slots that you have in your wagons. I guess if you want to, so like it could be more efficient depending, I guess, on the card you get out of it. Like you can put a pack in a slot as opposed to one common card isn't going to get you a lot of points. Like if you're not planning on leveling up some cards, maybe it's more efficient for you to just throw
right.
You know what I mean? So you don't have to have as many carts. So yeah, if you're going to level up your deck completely, then definitely makes more sense to open up your packs. But if you're only planning on getting a few cards here and there, for at least for now, then it might make more sense to just hold your packs for this.
Yeah, but that's a big sacrifice. Like no fun in the meantime. You're just playing the economics game. That's not fun. That's not fun. Like we're not here to collect airdrop points.
Yeah, what are you trying to? You're really just trying to grind
skulls and
airdrop points.
Get out of silver, man. That's what we're trying to do here. Oh, shoot.
Open those packs, delegate those cards to me if you're not going to use them for until the airdrop.
Yeah. Help a brother out, man. Come on.
Yeah. Help me get
Oh,
out of
yeah.
silver.
All right,
So,
Happy.
yeah.
A
Hopefully
lot of
next
fun,
time I
dude.
got some of these cards, and hopefully gonna play around with them for the next couple days, and we'll see. We'll see next week, next episode.
Well,
Listeners,
let's get
stay
a
tuned.
current tally, Hep. Where are you sitting on the trajectory out of silver at the moment? And
Like I said, 1605 is my rating. So barely into silver one. I struggled to
you got to
stay
be 1900.
1900. Yeah. I think when I started the season, I think I was at like 1800 or something like that. So I've slipped a lot. Yeah. Like here's a good example.
I think if it makes you feel any better, Hep, when we were, trading messages the other day when you were going through that flurry of losses, right after that, I think I lost. Gosh, man, I couldn't even tell you. I think I went probably 2-8, 2-9, 2-10, and I fell back to the top of Diamond 2, and now I'm knocking on Champ 2 door. So it happens quickly, man. Hang in there, bro.
Yeah, I've like my last 4 matches yesterday were losses. So yeah, rough.
Well, if anybody out there has some silver tips, shoot Hepthorn a challenge.
Yes.
HEPTHORN. Yeah, teach this guy some ropes.
Yeah. Silver level? Okay.
Yeah, modern only. No, so Scouts Honor, bro. No Untamed. None of your wild nonsense. No armor. Equalizer. 23 mana. Earth, life, or not Earth. Fire, life, and dragon available. Man, yeah, silver is a completely different ball game, man. I'm looking at these cards and
you're like, yeah,
where's all my abilities at?
Where are all my abilities exactly? Ooh, sure. I can't play my Lord Aranthus. I know I have another copy. I know it said I put.
Oh, I'm sure.
Not even my Furious Chick. Oh, I could play my Gelatinous Cube. Doesn't even have self heal in silver though. That would have been fun to play. I'm sure you would have loved that. Oh, see, I need another minute. I need another minute with all these new cards and abilities. It's just not fair. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
40 seconds left.
I'm struggling here too, bro. I went completely back to the drawing board here.
Crap. All right. Man. Okay.
Okay, I'm in.
Okay. All right, I'm in. I'm ready.
Here, let me share my screen, Hip, so you can see what's going on here. All right, you see that? Oh, you've got look at you, bro. I wasn't expecting that. You dog.
I just told you I went and bought it.
Yeah, it's almost midnight here too, man. All right.
I hope yours procs first. Actually, let's see.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it's got to go by speed, right?
Oh, for the
for ambush too. I guess it depends. What did you ambush on your sneakers?
All right, so yeah, we both played a cane. I played with life. We both went with life. Yeah, ambush. Yep, I went on
Yeah, so talk us through your lineup, Pep. So you got the Conjurer up front.
So Conjure, and then Martyr. Oh, I forgot it was like Equalizer. Oh man, okay. I Conjure up front, and then I played my Ruse, and then Danfer Infiltrator, Venari Marksrat, Dr. Blight, Celestial Harpy in the back. I completely forgot that it was Equalizer because I was not paying attention to the rule set as much. So I was anticipating getting the ambush from Bejangles, and I was hoping Tim to go after the Marksrat and my Ruse first, giving me those martyrs and boosting my Infiltrator, my Dr. Blight.
I think you're still going to get your wish with, because you're going to wipe out my. So I went a Kane also, Gargoyle Scrapper, Chaos Agent, Avis Sturgis, the weapons trainer, Evelyn, the weapons trainee, and then the Dragon Epic Karzak with Blight in the back. So you're going to wipe out my tank in the back pretty quickly, and then Ruse is going to kill himself on the Thorns here.
So,
all right. Well, let's see if I can stick. Oh yeah, Blight's got poison at silver. So if I can stick a poison on Conjurer right away, I think I've got a shot. But otherwise, I think I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Let's see. No poison. And seeing the Chaos Agent throw magic is so nice. Oh, Ruses. It might be too late.
Oh, come on. All right, I'll take that.
That'll get you to my agent in the front.
Evelyn is down. Poison stuck.
Oh, right. Agent doesn't have phase at this level. Uh-oh. And Blight's about to get the second magic. There's the poison. I think Blight's going to end it. Yep. Too little, too late.
Poison. You think?
Yeah, I don't have a chance. No chance. No chance. Now 1-0, Happy.
There we go.
There you go, bro. And we'll dismiss the fact that I know nothing about silver. We'll just all the praise to you, brother. Cool.
Well, yeah, like I feel good winning when I completely forgot to pay attention to the rule sets, which I was just more worried about the cards than figuring out what the cards were.
Worked out.
Good stuff.
Cool. All right, brother. A lot of fun, man. A lot of cool stuff happening. Stay positive. We'll come back to you guys with another episode shortly. Hope you enjoyed the show. You have been listening to
People's Guild.